welcome back to another Cake Life vlog. Oh my gosh, what a week. I actually don't really know where to start. It is currently Easter Monday. I am so short on time, it's unreal. There's not just cakes to do, but do you remember when I mentioned we had a new car? We went to pick up a new car. Well, we no longer have that new car because it's been written off. But I'll get more into that later. Right now, I really need to start making some fillings for these cakes. So this first cake I am working on is kind of last minute, but very special cake. So this is my husband's birthday cake. Adam is turning 40 tomorrow. Now, I have a wedding cake to make this week. It's another midweek wedding, so which means I was already baking Easter Sunday, ready for Thursday's delivery. And the cake is going to the Cotswolds. So, seeing as we'd never been there before, I thought I would book a little trip away to coincide with his birthday, which means we'll be setting off, even though it's his birthday tomorrow, we'll be setting off Wednesday evening, ready for setup of the wedding cake Thursday morning, and then we've got Thursday afternoon, Friday and Saturday to explore the Cotswolds before we come back home. Now, the reason why this is a last minute cake is because I just thought, do you know what, we're busy, I've got this wedding cake to make. What I'll do is I'll make him a small one when we get back, when I've got time, just to feed us as a family of four. Just a little birthday cake to mark the occasion. However, on Friday, he mentioned that when it's somebody's birthday at work, they bring cakes in for the rest of the workforce to enjoy. Now, the reason I haven't known about this before is because he worked in a different department, different section, and now he's working in this one. He said that it was his turn, obviously, to bring cakes in. So he said, I was thinking of maybe just getting some of those trays of cupcakes from Aldi. I was like, excuse me? Cupcake trays from Aldi? Absolutely not. So here I am doing a very last minute birthday cake. I have no idea. He won't tell me what he wants. He just said he wants something Disney. Doesn't really give me a lot to go off because there's like a million different ways you could go with this. And I'm very short on time because I only have today to get this done, ready for them to all eat tomorrow, and my wedding cake has to be ready for Wednesday. Let me wash my hands. There's going to be some late nights, I fear, trying to get this done. And not only that, not only was I faced with that this week, but as I mentioned in the first clip, we are now carless with a cake to deliver. And yes, that's made it pretty difficult. So this morning, Adam had to walk down to work to borrow the works car to be able to then come and collect me to bring all my cakes and cake stuff down. If you didn't know, I do not have an oven here in the studio. I bake everything at home and then bring it to the studio to decorate. So yeah, it's been pretty challenging for the last few days. So I did already have an initial idea for his cake, for the small one that I was going to make when we got back. However, that can't be, basically, I can't upscale that one to the size it needs to be to feed everybody that he works with. Like, it could be done, just not in this time scale and this time limit. This one has to be kind of a whole new design that I'm not ready for. I'm gonna dig through my cupboards, see what I've got to kind of make this quicker. Because as much as I really want to make him an amazing 40th birthday cake, it is a milestone birthday, I just wasn't expecting it. And this week he's just not playing ball at all. So I want to try and keep the stress to a minimum. So I've baked a 7-inch and a 5-inch round. So this is the 7-inch I am just ganaching now. I can't believe I got to get this whole thing done in a day. And we're going sugar paste as well. That's one. Rough ganached. Whilst I wait for those layers of ganache to set, I found this in the cupboard. It is a stylised castle in white and gold. It's only got one support. The other one has snapped off, which is why it's just sat in the cupboard, because I used to actually sell these in my little online shop. So I found a broken one, and it just comes with like these gold fireworks on sticks and like a Ferris wheel. Now, Disney World doesn't have a Ferris wheel. That's Disneyland in California, and we've never been. He's a big fan of Disney World, so I don't know. I might not use this, but I have it just in case. It's the only kind of Disney thing I have in the cupboard, because the rest is just disco balls and unicorns. Yeah, I don't really have anything else other than this. I need to come up with some sort of idea. I know that it's 2-tier. I know that the bottom is 7-inch with a 5-inch top on a board. These little doodle pads come in so handy. You might recognise them from my shop. I'm using a Christmas themed one at the minute, themed to Elf. But yes, these are still in my shop if you want to grab one. I am constantly scribbling different things on them. But we need to come up with a plan for this cake, because I have no idea what I'm doing. Castle wise, do we go obvious and put the castle on the top? I kind of want to get, do you know the Fantasia hat? So it's like this little pointed blue hat with like the stars on. I don't know if it has moons on. Maybe that could go on the top, and then they have like Mickey ears. I feel like that would be a good kind of statement topper. And then if we were going to put the castle on, the castle would go down here somewhere. Obviously this is not exactly how the castle looks. I'm just drawing it to give me an idea where stuff is going to live. Do I put the name up here? Do I put the name on the board? What can I put on here instead? Don't want to put a Mickey shape there because we have the ears up here already. What about, so we have fireworks, don't we, coming? What if we put like his name up here? And then like put a little border around that. And then behind that the fireworks are coming out. Oh, I don't know. And then some fireworks a bit further down here. Maybe that could work. Put the 40 on the board there, and then we definitely something at the sides here. I don't really want to be modelling at this point. I don't really want to be modelling Mickey Mouse. No time for that. What about like Mickey balloons floating away? Maybe a couple to fill the gaps. I don't know. Maybe something like that. Let's go with that. now 4:37. We finish at 5 and I have just completed the cake. I have yet to put ribbon on the board, but it's actually not a million miles away from the original doodle. We've got his name there in the middle, the Fantasia hat, the castle at the bottom. I did put less balloons on because I just thought it looked better with the little strings dangling down there so you could see them. And I'm not gonna lie, I was not fully convinced that these fireworks were gonna look good behind the name. I just thought it'd be a nice little filler, but they've turned out far better than I thought they would. I actually really like them. They're painted in gold and then they've just got very slight white centres with like little dots for the crackly sparkles. And I did find a little pack of sparklers when I was digging in to see what I had, but he will kill me if I put sparklers on there because he is not one to be sang to. He does not want happy birthday singing to him at all, so he will kill me if I put any sort of sparkler or candle on there. So yeah, all done. Just gonna put the ribbon on, take photos of it, and then he should be here in like 20 minutes. I forgot we had no car that we was walking today. I set the cake up there ready for his little picture, but he, obviously if we're walking home, it's easy for me to walk to him and then walk home from there. So he won't see this now until tomorrow. Yeah, completely forgot we were walking. Absolutely gutted about the car. I will chat to you about that tomorrow. Good morning, it is now Tuesday. Adam had his picture with his cake this morning before it got whisked off over to the other building. I'm just starting to ganache the wedding cake that I've got this week. So this week's wedding cake, the couple saw me at a wedding fair and their idea has remained the same the whole time, which is quite rare. They was very adamant that they wanted these two particular dragons featuring on it from a game called Monster Hunters. I haven't played the game myself, but I did watch a lot of gameplay, as always, when I come to design the cakes, because I want to make sure I get it right. So I'm just ganaching the top tier here, which is a 5-inch, and then you probably see just off to the side there's a very rough looking one. But that's supposed to be because that's the bottom tier, which is like rocky, like a cliff. So I've just carved that one and I'm basically just getting these ganached. I do love a good scenery cake, but I am always apprehensive now of dragons. If you watched one of my earlier vlogs, I think it was last year, I will pop it linked below, but we had issues with dragon wings. Whilst my ganache sets, why am I over there? I do have a few emails to do, so I'm going to hop on to those. But yeah, we're currently carless. So we picked up the shiny, brand new to us car, which he was very happy with. Because we do lots of research and things when we don't just go and buy a car. So we finally found one, picked it up about 3 weeks ago. And then on Good Friday, we decided just to nip to Matalan. It's always one of those things. If we hadn't gone to Matalan, this wouldn't have happened. But you can sit there and say that all the time with everything. So we were on our way back from Matalan. We were going down one of like a main road, which is like an A road, just nice and straight, lots of side streets, and obviously cars trying to get out of side streets. And as the passenger, I am always like Adam's second pair of eyes, so I do watch for cars on my side. And there was a silver car that pulled out from the side street. It rolled to a stop and then we went round it. It was like, right, that's fine, he's seen us. About 6 more side streets up the road, black car, black Audi pulls out, rolls slowly, we thought, to a stop, like the silver car was going to do. And then all of a sudden he sped up, came out and crashed right into the side of our car. Completely caved the doors in. So it was hit right between the 2 passenger doors, the front and the back, so the post in the middle. completely caved them in, shunted the car across the road, and I couldn't get out. The door was completely shut, so to be able to get out of the car I had to climb over to the driver's side. He knew it was his fault, he just wasn't looking. A lot of people who have seen the car have said that's going to be a write-off because it's not just cosmetic damage on the two doors, it's like that central pillar, which is a structural element of the car. Because it's pushed in so much, they said that central pillar is going to be pushed in and it's most likely a write-off. So Adam is not very happy about that because he does like his cars, he likes to keep his cars nice and clean. He was hoovering it that morning, so it was all nice and clean and he dusted all the inside, and then by the afternoon it had been written off. So what made this very difficult is it was over Easter, so the other guy's insurance, the other guy went off on holiday the next day, and we was like, do you think you can kind of get the ball rolling with your insurance so we can get like a courtesy car? He's like, I'll sort it when I get back, and we're like, no, we need a car. So yeah, we've been in touch with the other side's insurance, but we could only get in touch with them today because they've been off for Easter. They're shut on Sundays, shut on bank holidays. We've just been without a car. And obviously we deliver this cake tomorrow. Tomorrow night we set off with it, ready for setup on Thursday morning. So luckily they're back open today because it's a Tuesday, it's not a bank holiday, it's no longer Easter. So hopefully we can get a courtesy car either today or tomorrow morning by the latest, really. So yeah, not a very good Easter. These things happen though. It was just a complete accident, and he knew that it was his fault, so it couldn't have gone better, really. You know, because you can hear horror stories and things about this all the time. But yeah, it's just all been a little bit manic. So I'm gonna sit and get through my emails now, trying to get those down a little bit, and then we'll crack on with the cake. Now 1:45 on what day is it? Wednesday afternoon. We set off with this cake later on today, and it has taken me hours just to do one dragon. I've been in since 8 o'clock this morning, started work at 8:30 because I just cleared up a little bit, made myself a brew. So from 8:30 to 1:45 with a little break for dinner, it's taken me all that time to make a dragon, and I have another one to put on yet. What really annoys me about dragons is that you put the body and the tail on and the head on and it's all looking quite good and you're really pleased with it, and then you spend hours sticking like little spines on and drawing little scales on, and then you pretty much hide the majority of it when you go to stick the wings on. So here he is so far. This is the head of one dragon. He's kind of leaning down over the top so you can see like his feet and things under there. They were all nicely visible before I put the wings on. So you can see his tail there, and I'll spin it around on the other side. There's his other leg. Yeah, it's taken me that long, but here he is. I think you can just see like all the little scales that I've drawn on his face moving up through the body there. And now I've got to make a whole other one sat here in green. So I am actually just going to crack on with that now, because if I keep getting the camera out to film little bits, it's just slowing me down. So yeah, I'm going to place another green dragon here, and the next thing you'll see is probably finished because I'm going to be here for hours. It is 6 p.m. and I am finally finished. I'm really chuffed with how this one turned out. Because it's based on the game, it's quite realistic. So I wanted to make sure, because I'm very cartoony, so I wanted to make sure I got lots of detail in there to bring that realisticness out. So we have this red dragon here. He was made first, so he's almost dry. And then we have the slightly green one down here. There are details behind the wings. Like you can see, this one's got like little spines and things on its shoulders, and it's got some sticking out its tail. And then as Easter eggs also from the game, they wanted this add-in, which is like a meat rotisserie that you cook in the game. And I looked at the gameplay and there was lots of different areas you could choose, but one is a sky dragon and one is a land dragon. So I mixed obviously the sky and the land here, but they do have an area that looks a bit like a beach and a jungle. So I wanted to bring those together on this bottom tier here and have like a beachy area, but it looks like there's a little barbecue going on down here now. And then the jungly bit continues around the corner. You can just see like little carvings I've done. These are two symbols that they wanted adding, and I said they'll probably look better like carved into rock instead of just like sitting in a circle slapped on the cake somewhere. So these two are carvings in the rocks. And the detail obviously goes all the way around. I'll give you a last close-up of the dragons before I then box this. I've already emailed the Airbnb lady to tell her we're probably going to be late. We're not going to get there till at least like 11 PM because the Cotswolds is a 3 and a bit hour drive. But yeah, happy with this. Just going to photograph it now and we'll be on our way. So luckily we had a courtesy car dropped off. It was a huge like Dacia jogger 7-seater. It was absolutely huge. But we made our way down to the Cotswolds, checked into our Airbnb, and I had sent some banners ahead of time asking if they could possibly just put them up so that when we walked in they were already decorated. And they did such a lovely job. I loved this Airbnb. It was very like cozy, tiny little seating area and a kitchen. The bedroom was nice and big and it had a little bathroom off to the side. So yeah, I was really chuffed with our Airbnb. And then we got up early next morning to make our way to Cripps Barn. Again, another lovely rustic setting. I do love a good wood, greenery and kind of fairy-like combo. I just love it. We set the dragon cake up on the table, and again I'm just super chuffed how this cake turned out. I do always get like a little touch of anxiety when somebody mentions the word dragon now, but luckily these dragons were a lot smaller. Obviously the one I had problems with a very large dragon on the side, but these went totally fine and I really love this cake. So yeah, after that was done, we spent a couple of days in the Cotswolds. We have never been before. It really is as pretty as everybody says. Lots of tourists there, lots of tourists. I could hear American accents, there was Japanese, everyone with the cameras out taking pictures of everything because there is a lot of wisteria there as well, so everything just looks really nice. We made our base at Bourton on the Water, which is one of the most picturesque. They call it like Venice of the Cotswolds because of the river flowing through it. And it's very, very shallow, so there's lots of dogs paddling in there and kids in there. But then we drove to other towns to experience those as well. Loved it, had a really good time, and then came home on Saturday. So since then, obviously our car got towed away. It got assessed. We were told that it had over 8.5 grand's worth of damage. I know you've probably seen the photo and gone, oh, it's just 2 new doors, but it's a lot worse than it looks. You've got to remember like how much the doors caved in was how much obviously the central pillar will have also bent and things like that. And obviously I couldn't even open my door. So the insurance company have decided to write it off, and we have been given a sum of money to go and buy another car with. However, it's over £100 less than we paid for the car just 3 weeks ago, which is really annoying, and we'd put £77 worth of petrol in it. So we are £100 odd plus £77 worse off for something that wasn't our fault, which annoys the hell out of me. I have like a very, very strong sense of fairness and justice. I've always been like that, to the point I will even cut like a chicken breast into 4 equal pieces to make sure that everybody's got the same amount. I'm really terrible. But that's just how I am, so I'm just quite annoyed that we've had all this like upheaval and now having to look for another car, and we've got less money to work with, and all that sort of stuff is something that wasn't our fault. But you have to get on with these things, so we are now back car hunting again. We've currently still got the courtesy car, but we're going to have that only for the next few days, so we really need to pull our finger out and find something. Like Adam's on Auto Trader every 2 minutes just to see if there's any more cars gone on. But this video is very long now, so I'm going to go. I hope you enjoyed the behind the scenes of these cakes. Adam's 40th birthday cake. It turned out better than I thought it would because I was just so panicked. I didn't have enough time to work on it, but I actually really liked it when I'd finished it. And the dragons obviously loved the cake. And I've already seen some sneak peeks from the photographer as well. So thank you very much for watching. If you did get all the way to the end of me rambling on, please leave me a comment. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do, and I will see you in the next one.